Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the Carthage Campaign. Last time, we concluded 2 full hours of setup for this campaign, and though we are ready to hit the unpause button, there is a little bit more to go over, following up on some stuff I wanted to look into after the previous episode. I've now looked into it, and I have some more information about, first of all, the issue of the traits, which involve local citizen output. I noted that this appeared to be some sort of weird glitch, and this is actually a known bug, which I found some documentation about on the Imperator Invictus Discord server. It is identified as a vanilla bug, not something coming from Invictus, from one of the last couple of patches that Paradox put up there for Imperator Rome. It's actually a visual bug and not a bug with the trait itself. And I've actually double-checked this. If we take a look at Shalom Hanoni, he has 8 finesse, which means he should be giving an output bonus to all population types. And in fact, we can see plus 12% output multiplied by Shalom Hanoni on tribesmen and on freemen and on citizens. But there's also a plus 6% from Shalom Hanoni. That is from the correct 1 copy of local citizen output, because that's on the citizen pops. So the other plus 6% are being displayed, but they're not actually being calculated. And although the visual bug is annoying, it's not the end of the world. I know, just on the face of it, this is clearly not how it's meant to work, and it's not how it's actually working. I think other instances of the local citizen output modifier appearing in multiple copies this way should probably work the same way, where it's not actually being calculated beyond just the 1 copy that's meant to be there. So I wanted to follow up on having looked into that. Everything there is fine. I also went ahead and did some research into the issue of naval composition, and my kind of in-the-moment contemplations of either having a mix-style fleet of triremes and hexarrays, or of having just hexarrays. Having done some research, I've concluded that the mix-style fleet is probably more optimal if I have severe economic concerns, which I largely don't and largely won't long term. I think it's actually going to make the most sense to start with just the hexarrays and actually build up to a full fleet of 30 of them, and then use them to fight pirates or any enemies at sea that I make from regular wars, and capture lighter ships, and then use those lighter ships to support them, to do sort of transportation duty, things like that. Ships can each carry 1 cohort regardless of size, so the 30 hexarrays can actually carry 30 cohorts by themselves, and most of my mercenary armies won't be particularly enormous. I think I can probably get away without having a standing transport fleet at all times. And while having a really heavy navy of 30 hexarrays may seem like an odd decision, especially because their movement speed will be quite slow, I don't ultimately need to have tons of fast-moving fleets under most circumstances playing against the AI. I think what I really need is just the ability to win naval battles, which may sound a little obvious, but the way that naval warfare worked in real life and the way it works in Imperator Rome, although this game does a great job at simulating and capturing many of the nuances of the naval warfare of the ancient world, one thing it doesn't really do a good job at capturing in this game is the way navies worked in real life, and actually still work to this day in real life, which is that it's more of a matter of power projection and the threat of a very strong, technologically advanced navy than it is the actual use of that navy in combat. In all of history, including today, navies are a massive cost sink, and the threat of losing your navy is a major deterrent in a similar way actually to the way nuclear deterrence works, just in a kind of smaller scale and going back all through history. And there were many times in real history where naval powers used their reputation to get what they wanted or to win conflicts without even needing to use their actual naval power. And so in terms of how the AI would interpret my naval power, because the AI does keep track of that and consider that, it could have some effect on them. But I don't really anticipate this game, even with the improved AI from Imperator Invictus, to do too much complex with that thinking. Rather, what I'm thinking about is that in the game, naval warfare really comes down to 2 kinds of, or really 3 kinds of actions or projects. You've got transportation, which I can do with any size of ship, and even with a pirate fleet that I hire, if necessary. You've got blockading, which again, you can do with any kind of ship, including a pirate fleet. And you've got naval combat. In naval combat, with essentially no serious nuances, the size of the ship is the main thing that matters. So, with the exception of sheer numbers, and noting that the 30 combat width of, I believe all of the water tiles, ocean tiles definitely have 30 combat width, but I think river tiles also have 30 combat width. With 30 combat width, more ships can join the battle as reinforcements, but ultimately size really wins the day on the high seas. And with that in mind, I think the most efficient way for me to maintain my navy, given that I don't have any immediate naval plans, is to actually shed the triremes and just keep my current hex arrays, and then when I have a level 3 dock anywhere, probably the first one will be in Carthage, I'll start building up additional hex arrays until I have a basic fleet of 30 hex arrays. Now, ultimately, the kind of hypothetically best fleet is 30 mega polyremes. It's going to be extremely expensive, and most people online that I saw discussing this issue, and there's not a lot of discussion about Imperator Rome naval composition, which is a pretty obscure topic. Most people agree, and I think they're probably right, that the efficient min-max way to approach Navy in this game, although it's less exciting, is to essentially go for a Liburnian light ship spam approach, which is what the AI essentially does, at least pre-Invictus. I don't know if current Invictus AI has smarter composition now, but generally speaking, the AI tends not to focus on Navy because it's just not very good at it compared to the player. Again, maybe Invictus improves things there, but most players have said that you're better off building a massive sort of doom fleet of hundreds of little individually weak triremes and Liburnians, and just overwhelming anyone with sheer swarm numbers, which, although kind of funny, is not a particularly interesting way to approach the naval game. And this is an example where, while a super heavy fleet is also sort of immersion breaking, at no time in history has any country maintained a fleet of essentially just their equivalent of battleships. Even in the modern day, with really, really heavy ships like aircraft carriers and battleships being easier to make, all of these fleets have tons and tons of supporting ships that are lighter, screening ships, submarine support, let alone back in ancient times where larger warships were often supported by smaller ships. Either way, having a fleet of, for now, what's available to me, of 30 of the heaviest ships I have, the hex arrays, this isn't particularly realistic, but it is a meta strategy, and even if it's not the best meta strategy by consensus, I think it fits Carthage a little better. Now, I will note that one of the things to consider is how the traditions actually deal with bonuses for different kinds of ships. So we do have just a number of general ship bonuses here. Ship damage done, ship damage taken. Let's see here. This unlocks mega polyremes, and of course this one unlocks Octarays, the level 5 ship. Let's see. So yeah, none of these actually favor one kind of ship or another. Let's see over here. Anything related to the size of the ship. If we had a military tradition that gave a really, really strong bonus to, for example, triremes, it may change my plan with this. So ship cost, open sea combat, ship damage, and all of these modifiers are more generic. Ship maintenance cost. Okay, Liburnian and trireme bonuses, certainly worth noting. And this, I think, helps to offset their inherent weakness against the larger sizes. But this is also at least 4 traditions down, and this area of the Punic traditions isn't where I wanted to start. So let's see, what else do we have more? Ship damage reduction, ship repair. Okay, so we do have some bonuses to the lighter 2 kinds of ships, but I think ultimately it still is worth it to go for a heavier naval strategy. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and go for just that. I can also, by the way, get more light ships by just fighting pirates. Pirates, I believe, consistently spawn with just the lightest ship type of Liburnians. Maybe they spawn with triremes sometimes, but they usually spawn with mainly Liburnians, maybe some triremes. And I can capture ships from pirates, especially with heavier ships. They're going to be very good against pirates with the proper admiral and size. So yeah, let's go ahead and, where is my hold on. Here it is, disband this navy here. And that will save us a little bit of money. So that is the plan with that, and this means I need to actually have one more level of port in Carthage. Now, we have a few things to figure out here in terms of how to get this. I could remove a building to make room for one more port, and I think I can build another level of port. Let's see. Okay, so I can, it's just a matter of money, so there's no local limit preventing me. I think I probably want to lose a library to make room for a port. I hate to lose a library, but I think this is the most acceptable building to lose. Technically, the most efficient building to lose is probably the fort, which I am loath to do. This is advanced AI after all, so let's not play around in such a manner. I definitely want to keep the marketplace. Let's go ahead and lose one library and get a port under construction. We do have the stone being traded in still. Let me make sure that I actually cancel that. And actually, before I do, any other construction projects I want to do right away? Nothing in particular, I don't think. And I guess I should also note, should I keep this fort? You know, let me come back to that. So one more thing I wanted to note before I get back to that is the other thing I was looking into, which is this issue with the ports and the coast bonus. So I don't remember seeing this in other mods. Maybe this has always been true and I've never noticed it. But from a bit of research, this appears to be a known, seemingly bug with Imperator Rome. It may be intentional design, but it appears that the way it works is that the 5% population capacity bonus from coastal consistently disappears when there is at least one port present in a settlement, even when the settlement, of course, remains coastal. So this appears to be a consistent occurrence where if a port gains or loses, or I'm sorry, if a settlement gains or loses a port, then the population bonus will move with it. And it appears that if this is intentional, it's not very well communicated to the player, and a shocking twist for an Imperator Rome mechanic. But if this is intentional, it's because the population bonus is being replaced by the bonuses from the port, which have pros and cons compared to the population bonus. Generally, I would actually say that for the kinds of locations I would build ports, which are cities, I'd actually prefer the population bonus over the other bonuses, unless I'm stacking multiple layers of ports. Which leads me to think that having fewer cities on coastlines and maximizing the height of these cities individually might be a good strategy for me. This is a pretty minor thing, but it leads me to think that maintaining the ports in places that I don't plan to have cities probably isn't worthwhile. And because of my new strategy with only having heavier ships, I don't actually need to have a lot of ports all over the place. I just need a few locations with larger port infrastructure. So I'm going to go ahead and actually get rid of some of these extra ports where I don't need them longer term. I will keep the ones that are at provincial capitals, so I already sort of went through and did all this last time. I think it was just this place that I forgot to update. And I also didn't really look too closely at the islands. Let me quickly scroll over here and see if there's any infrastructure I want to get rid of and that I don't need. We do have a number of cities around here, which I don't anticipate keeping long term. This library can go, and Nura is an oddly well-developed city. I don't need, honestly, any of this infrastructure. This place is not going to be a city. It's going to become an iron mine, though not right away. Sulky as well is going to become not a city, but I don't want to spend a bunch of tyranny to revoke city status. One thing I should mention as well while we're talking about revoking city status is that one of the changes from my Misadventurer's campaign tweaks is that I reduced the cost of revoked city status to 1 tyranny, down from 5 tyranny. But it's still quite a bit of tyranny for not much immediate purpose. It's okay if these are cities just for now. We'll come back to it later though. Alright, that all looks fine. This should probably have a port, and this actually can lose its port, but Karali, which will be my local capital long-term in this province, should have a port. I think I may actually build a port over here. Yeah, I think that's worth doing. Okay, and then over here, Lilubim is going to be my capital in Sicania long-term, so it should keep its port. But the other locations around here, things can definitely be adjusted. Let's see, this is not going to be the capital long-term. I only have that one territory. We've got some cities up here that don't really make sense as cities long term, I don't think. This can be a stone mine, and this just isn't a good spot for a city. It is a pirate haven, though, so that's extra local tax. This could be a settlement, though, even with the pirate haven bonus. Maybe the pirates will move to Lelubim. Anyways, I think I will go ahead. Should I keep this fort, though? Having, if I'm joined in war by my client state. They join me in wars. Yeah, my tributaries don't join me. I do join them, or I do defend them if they're attacked. But I'll have a fort at Heracleum and Noah if it comes to it. I'm hoping I can just stave off the Syracuseans until I'm ready to fight them. I don't know how aggressive they are with their opening mission. I think... Oh man, it's tough. I think if I can just make Lelubim a city, and then I can build a fort there as well, that would solve my problems. I think while this place is the capital, I should just keep the fort here. So I'll keep Tzitz as it is right now. Okay. So, with all of that said, I think we're actually now ready for real to begin our new campaign here with Carthage. I think we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and begin at speed 2. Actually, hold on. Not quite yet. Actually, our support increased a little bit. Ooh, okay. We can get up to 50 pretty soon. Is it worth it to smear? I don't want to be stuck below 50 if an event requires me to make a choice that the Adirim want to have a say in. Let's go ahead and find some traditionalists to smear. Okay. The researcher, I can smear him. This should work. Almost. We need to do one more. That's a shame. Alright, let's see here. Another researcher. Oh, are you kidding me? We're so close. Okay, at this closeness, we should creep up above 50 just pretty quick, yeah. Oligarchs will raise quite quickly. Alright. This should be okay. Let's go ahead and finally hit that unpause button. Alright, immediately we're getting a ton of pop-ups that I need to get rid of. Acquiring an ambition is not something I care about for these other people. Oh my god. Tamar Megonet is trying to grow up. She is the daughter of the Rope. Alright, good job. I appreciate you letting me know about that. Trying to grow up as well. I guess all of these, I don't know why all of these particular characters are telling me about their ambitions, but sure. Alright, so choice of personal duty, I don't need to know about this either. Sorry about the pop-up spam, but it will happen. Attempting to make friends, this is another nation forms character interaction. Actually, this is kind of interesting to know about. This is a tribal chief. This is one of the Sardan tribes. Who is this? Come on, show me the interface. Which tribe is this? It's this one here. It's Rubrenzia. This is a courtier in my court. This isn't like the governor. I'd be very curious if it was like that. Is this the it is the tribal chief. I actually think I'm going to keep this one on, potentially. We'll see how often this is happening. All right, Capariencia wants my wine? Absolutely. Go for it. Oh my gosh. What is this one? Another nation tries to get the gods to get... Okay, I don't need to know. Oh, everyone's doing their omens. That's what's going on. Oh my gosh. Okay, I certainly don't need to know about all of this. All right. Fortunately, I only have to sift through the pop-up spam of this nature one time. How many people have done their omens on the 7th of January? What is this? Okay, hold on. They've changed their ID. I don't need to know about this. Again, I'm sorry about the pop-up spam, but I don't know which ones I had before, so I want to recreate it through... Oh my actual god, how many are there? Jeez. Oh, everyone's doing it. Everyone's doing it. Alright, just give me a moment. We gotta go through. Wait, can I shift? No, it doesn't work like that. Oh no. Oh, there we go. Alright, canceled military access. I don't need to know about this. This is the thing I need to know about the least. of anything. All right, Iptukia on Iberia wants my stone from Sicania. Yep, that's fine. Oh, I didn't trade out my stone. I haven't had my monthly tick yet, so didn't miss out. Let me go ahead and cancel the stone trade. Can I get gems? No. What about... Let's see. I think I should go for just value here. So spice, no, not spice, that's my resource. Papyrus? Yeah, let's trade for papyrus. That sounds fine. All right. All right, denial of a military alliance. I don't think I usually need to know about this. Also, I'm gonna save my political influence for now, in order to try to get divine sacrifices going. I think I need to get my stability up and running. I'm pretty sure I should save it for that. Let me actually double check before we get to our first monthly tick. What exactly are we dealing with on the provincial loyalty front? Okay, so I'll come back to the actual policies. Anything drastically falling apart? Where are things the worst? Okay, Retubus is actually increasing because he's doing harsh treatment. Minus 0.23. Okay, it's from Balon. Yeah. Let's see here. Settlement of Balon. Oh, it's over here. Okay. Interesting. Oh, that was the only one in... Yeah, obviously. That's the only one in that in that province. That's why that says that. Okay. Why is it so severe in Balon? That's kind of odd. Definitely strange. Alright, so because I would still gain tyranny, I'm not going to adjust any of this stuff. Let's just keep waiting. Let's see if I can climb back up to 50 just naturally. I can force the hand a little bit with some smearing if needed, but prefer not to if possible. Alright, I'm also not going to assign an admiral because I don't want to have to pay for their stipend. Oh my gosh, the naval movement is happening. Interesting. But, you know, I just realized I'm going to also allow attachment, and that way my clients and feudatories can actually have their smaller navies join me whenever I go to war. Okay, we are actually now at 50. That's good that I didn't do another smear. All right, insults are being thrown around. Festively insults. I don't think I need to know about that. Okay, I do want to know about wars being declared, absolutely. All right, that was quick. Adrissia has already declared war on the Lysimachids. I think I do want to know about this. This may come back to haunt me to get war declaration notifications for everyone, but this will help me keep a better understanding of the situation in the world. And I did say before, this is going to be a pretty slow-paced campaign, if you haven't guessed by now. All right, so Adrissia is attacking the Lysimachids and their vassals. Okay, what is this war over? It's war of aggression. All right, Adrissia. Good luck with that one. Okay. Let me think about this for a minute. Now that I'm at 50, I think I should be able to change the policies. I can for 4 influence each. Okay. Let's go in descending order of importance. So starting at Carthago, I think encourage trade here probably still makes sense. Let's see, I think Invictus rebalances the policies and makes Bleed Them Dry worse. Actually, I think this is still probably good here. The slave happiness locally, you know, it does affect the unrest, which has some other effects on the territories, but it won't ultimately affect the province loyalty. Of course, the province loyalty itself doesn't have any effect here. The local monthly food modifier could be a problem, but we have a lot of food here. This is a bit of a breadbasket province. I think I can probably justify the enormous economic boost of going to bleed them dry in Carthago. So let me go ahead and do that. Also 3.18. 3.46. That's pretty substantial. Okay. In the other provinces, I'm not as confident I can get away with that. Here in Fabricania, let's see. I think going for pop conversion, that's interesting. That may be necessary. What is our actual, okay, 61% over here, 48% here. They should really be going for assimilation. And I mean, I should really be going for that in Carthago as well, but I need the money. You know, 0.3 gold per month isn't enough, I think, to justify. I thought that I'd be getting a little bit more. I'm gonna waste 2 months of political influence to actually switch this again. I'm gonna switch it to cultural assimilation. Actually, am I? Is that the right call? Oh my gosh, Carthage. We do have a lot of Massilians living here. I think I am going to switch it to cultural assimilation. Ooh, the conversion's way faster. That's interesting. This has been rebalanced. Maybe I go for conversion first, actually. We do have a lot of religious diversity. Every single territory would benefit. You know what? I'm going to go for religious conversion. Bold decision here, but let's see how this looks on the territory level. 2% per, yeah, so minus 20% from being non-integrated, okay. And then 33% from not Canaanite. So I think it actually is technically more efficient to do conversion first. This is a pretty big change from vanilla. I think this is an Invictus change to make converting first more efficient than assimilating first. Pops are more useful when they're your culture than when they're your religion, but because they convert faster, I think we do start with religious conversion. Okay, glad I worked that one out. All right, and since he's got such good finesse, where else should we perhaps do some of this conversion action? Where do we have the most population? Let's see, Besatis, probably worth going for this over here. It will hurt our commerce and our food a little bit, but it will help. Oh, you know, we don't have that much here. 80% might be a threshold that I'm not sure I need to cross over. That being said, every territory does have local non-Canaanites. I think it's worth it, actually. All right. And then, and because I don't have to spend tyranny, because it's, you know, it's not other regions, I want to start here. Let's do Zugatania next. 64%, yeah. Okay, that's all good. Now, should I get to work on trying to start integrating? I think I should. Now that I have got 50 support, I can do this without extra tyranny costs. All right, so sending a gift would get them to 25. They're at 155 right now. If I changed my stance, which I won't have the PI for this for a long time, to domineering stance, I could definitely get this done a little sooner. But I think I can probably get away with this with just money. I think what we want to do is, let's see, I think just improve relations, or I mean improve opinion, and then once they're at 190, start integrating. I also was double checking if integrations actually do slow down other integrations. I'm not actually 100% sure that that's true. I remember that being the case from past campaigns playing as Rome. I don't really do a lot of integration in most campaigns, so it's really just campaigns that have starting vassals where I see it happen the most. But I'm not 100% sure if I'm right about that for Invictus. But I feel like that dynamic is pretty expected, so I'm going to assume that that's the dynamic. So I'm not going to focus on trying to integrate multiple countries at the same time. I think let's start with Utica and start improving opinion with them. We'll get to 190 fairly comfortably. I'm trying to think if there's any reason why I should go for something other than improve opinion. Sending a gift would get them, well, let's count actually. This would get them to let's see, 160, 170, and then I need just 20 more. I think I would have, yeah, let me just improve opinion with Utica. And you know, let me start improving opinion with my other early integration targets. I think it's worth it to get this going now. I'm pretty sure this is worth it to get going now, because I can't build any ships right now. I don't need to save my money for other purposes, and this is able to happen in all these locations simultaneously. They'll be kept at 190 for a while. With this one here, though, yeah, hold on. This one here is at 175 right now. What's the difference? Trade access, mercantile. Are they on mercantile stance as well? Hold on. They are on mercantile stance. No, these guys are as well. Actually, what is the difference? Hold on. Trade access, what does that mean? Okay, I'm not entirely sure, but this will get us to 200. So we can just send a gift. Yeah, we should be able to integrate Leptis Minor 3rd of March. Okay, glad I checked that. All right, improve opinion with these guys. And with these guys. And also with Importer. We're just gonna get this going. And with these guys. And also with Yule as well. And then Ibasim, let's get them as well. What region are they actually in? They're in Constantine. I don't necessarily want to overextend myself more than I've been overextended. Integrating Heracleum and Noah. This could be a bit trickier because they don't, you know, let me actually finish off with my remaining Punic feudatory over here. Let me start with the Punic subjects and then worry about the non-Punic subjects. That's probably the way to do it. Okay. What do these guys want? A Dirham administration law. Okay. Let's see what they are asking for here. Okay, so that's plus 5% monthly political influence. This allows the War Council. I prefer the Popular Assembly, but this isn't the end of the world if they force this through. If they force it, I'll probably agree to their demands. And they're likely going to oh my god, 70 succession support versus 13. Wow. That is a significant difference. All right, Syracuse declared war. Oh, this is why I have this enabled, so I can follow important news like this. Syracuse declared war on Tindaria. Okay, that is extremely useful information. This is the exact kind of information I'd want to know about. I don't know if I've just happened to get updates that are useful to me, or if I'm just right about this being a good thing to keep track of. All right, very good to know. Syracuse is at war with Tindaria. They completely surround Tindaria, so I think this should be pretty easy for them, but we'll keep an eye on the situation. Oh, Sakulia joined in too. Ooh, okay. Yeah, they were in defensively with Tindaria. I don't like Syracuse attacking Sakulia, who also border me, but I can't do too much about that. All right. That's fine. Acragus wants my gold, and Lingonia wants my iron. Sounds good. Rome wants my base metal. I'm gonna not trade with Rome in particular. I'm gonna try to freeze them out as best I can from my markets. Can I actually automate this? Can I blockade a specific country? I don't think I can. I'll also have to be careful not to accept Roman trade. Alright. Alright, trade with the Numidians. And the Numidians there as well. Alright, March. Oh, ambition fulfilled. I do not need to know about these. March 3rd. Or not you. Here you are. Here we go. Start integration. So 1st of June, 452. Diplomatic annexation allows us to integrate a client state, feudatory, temple state, or satrapy into our nation without declaring war. The cost and length of the process will depend on their relative power. Oh, let's not grant independence. That'd be a Catastrophic misclick right there. All right, Leptis Minor, welcome to the fold. Here we go. I'm pretty sure multiple integrations slow each other down, so let's at least get that going. We should be able to integrate everybody else at about the same time, so we'll get the minor Punic Republics integrated in time. Oh, got a naval battle happening nearby. Battle of Mar Tirhenum between Syracuse and Tindari. Tindari's going to lose this one. Look at the, that's actually really cool. You got these custom Syracusean sails on the ship there. Alright, Syracuse won that one, unsurprisingly. Alright, looking good. How's my research looking? 115%, that's what I'd like to see. Massilia wants my spices. Sounds good. Oligarchs power shift. The oligarchs now control Chios. Let's see. I do not care about this at all. I don't need to know other countries' factional internal dynamics. That's actually something that in Hegemony would be kind of useful for people to know about, but in this game, not particularly. All right, war between Yemen and Odd. Interesting. Or I mean, not Yemen. The Yemeni local power of had Haramut. There we go. Against Odd. This is Odd is gonna die from that conflict. Yeah, the AI is a lot more sails around a lot more. I'm not entirely sure what is going on, but I don't usually see the AI sailing around with such enthusiasm. All right, Bosphorus Kingdom is fighting Chersonesus. Okay, that's not too surprising. Alrighty. Okay, then what does this cost? It's 4, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so now with Maxiesia, let's go ahead and switch this. Oh, we don't have that much of it, though. I may as well switch it to conversion. Alright. And now I think I'm going to save the rest of my... What is this? Gives a gift. I don't even know about this. I'm going to save the rest of my PI for probably stability. Alright. Shembritia in Axum declared war on who? My Adrasha. Okay. Yeah, a lot of these declarations won't be too pertinent to my situation, but I guess good to know. More war in Axum. Damat and Axum are fighting. Okay. Okay, we also do have some loyalty problems at this time. Governor of Numidia. I should have actually dealt with this before I had my first monthly tick, but I'll deal with it now. It's really close. She should get to 33 because of support regrowth from the trads. Although it's really slow, 0.01. It's such a shame because it's so close. Can't bribe her. I need 5 for that. I don't love giving her corruption. We do have a lot of corruption reduction, though, right now. Free hands upsets the trads, but I think bribery won't upset them when their party member is being bribed. I don't remember how this works exactly, but I'm pretty sure we can bribe her. I feel like I may have to. These guys here. I could also grant holding, yeah. Democrats don't like this, but the oligarchs do like this. I mean, that will be efficient to do it that way. Democrats have got half the influence, or half the control of the oligarchs. If I were to actually... Can I give you... No, I need to do it for family heads. If I give the family head, who's the Democrat party leader, a holding, what happens then? It seems to still work the same way, but it'll give him loyalty. Do I need him to be loyal? It probably would be wise. We gained Two-Faced. I don't think he had that before. Not ideal. Let's see here. Where is he going to get the least tax income possible? Okay. Oh, wait, no, this is not for the holding. This is just the territory description. Let's see. Let's just give him a desert. Let's give him Innun as a holding. Okay, 33. And indeed, I believe this did change, as I was expecting. Okay. It also improved our support slightly. So that addresses that. We don't have any civil war risk, though. We're not too far off. Really, it's the Numidia governor that's a problem here. I could try to befriend her, but that only solves the problem briefly. What's the issue here? Slow faction approval. Yeah. And power base as well. Tyranny isn't helping either. If I lose some tyranny, we're really close. She'll get to 33 in a couple of monthly ticks. We'll be alright. Do we have any claims on anybody? We do not. Because of Allied Mauritania. Interesting. Alright, who's this? Histo Nurik, that tribal chief, is the same guy. He's trying to befriend another nobleman. Suspicious. What are these? What is this guy up to over in Rubrencia? He's scheming. He's got schemes. Very interesting. The Poo local power of Fugandulu in Tibet. Okay. War in Tibet? You don't say. I could go to war with Gazantia and make them a tribal vassal. Or, well, hold on. This is part of Africa. Maybe I should try to actually annex them. I don't directly border them, though. I border them through Emporia, but that could be a little awkward. Maybe not. I'll come back to that later. Okay. We got war in Honorad Hapara. Argos is fighting Troyzen. Interesting. Battle for Argolis, I guess. Or I guess Arcadia is the name of the province. More war in East Africa. Okay. Of the people, our ongoing attempts to woo the highly skilled stateswoman Ishut Hanonit have encountered a hitch. Being a true woman of the people, Ishut has decided to invest in the creation of a beautiful monument to please the Carthaginian people. To complete this mammoth task, she requires a large number of able-bodied souls. If we were to provide such assistance, Ishut would surely be in our debt. Ooh, okay. I actually have enough manpower to do this, which I don't usually do, and I'm not going to spend the gold for this. I could get almost double the PI for manpower, which is a resource I'm gaining quite a bit of and don't really need that much of right now. Why not? Okay. That is very, very good. Okay, so with that political influence, I think it behooves me to grab... Oh, it's even cheaper as well. I forgot about that. Yeah, because of traditional model and from our Rab Kohanim. Let's grab Divine Sacrifices on the monthly tick, I think, and get that underway. Getting our stability up will help with all of our... everything in our nation all at once. Marriage. All right, I don't want to know about these. Thanks for the notification, though, I suppose. All right, the port's done. Okay. And we should have enough now. Let's do the Divine Sacrifice. All right, very good. Okay, with the level 3 port, we should now be able, and we can, build the larger ships. It's going to take a while. It's just not going to take that long at all. It will be expensive, though. This is a pretty big investment. But I think we just need to get it going. I want to have my 30 hex arrays ready to go to start hunting pirates and paying back their cost by capturing some ships for me and other such actions. So let me at least get to a fleet of 30. So let's get to it. With only one port that can do these constructions, I don't need to keep any other ports that I don't plan to make use of long term. Over here, by the way, I'm not sure if this will stay a port. Actually, it probably won't stay a port because the capital will be likely inland. We'll come back to that, I guess. Okay, that's fine. Granting of military access. I definitely don't need to know about this. War between... oh, this is actually war in Baetica. That's actually good for me to know. So this is between Astigia and who else? I should just look at the pictures here. Carmoia. Okay, fair enough. All right, she's almost there. Very nearly almost there. Or in Sicily. Interesting. This is going to be a pretty slow and sort of uneventful start as I just get oriented. But getting a lot of these integrations done... Ooh, okay, this is good to know. We've got Mauritania fighting Nectabaria. Okay, they're trying to consolidate the interior. Good to know. Arcadia declared war on the Achaean League. Interesting. Senate support is secure. Trade escort policy at your assembly. Okay. Quick score check. Number 2 in the world. That's where I like to see. We're above the Ptolemaics, which is actually kind of a surprise. I don't know how we pulled that off, but sounds good to me. All right. Chalkia is attacking Gungania. All right, that is over here somewhere. Okay. We've got war in India. Sounds fine. How's this war going for these guys? Going fine so far. Child's been born. I don't in my country. I don't need to know about this. Thank you, though, for the heads up. All right. Scorned family. Oh, no. What exactly is the problem now? The Barkids need a 3rd position, as do the Meganids. All right. That is a change. I don't know what exactly happened there, but they now believe they are owed such a thing. Okay. Well, we may have to lose some competent characters, which is a shame. I guess we can bring in Huldat Bark, who is a Barkid. Statesmanship is similar, so it shouldn't be too much of a loss. She is a bit worse overall, but this is okay. Yes. Let me switch them, I think. You can go up here. There we go. I do want to get my monthly military experience going, because I need a lot of military traditions in this build, but I think the higher national tax is more important. Was that it? I thought I had another scorned family. The Meganids. Are they not actually scorned? I guess not. Okay. Maybe after the tick it'll update. No, they aren't scorned, apparently. Is this true? It is true, yeah. They don't have the scorn modifier. Okay, well, if they're happy with 2 positions, they can have 2 positions. I will not. Let's see. Saba declared war on Mayan over on the peninsula. The Iberian, the Arabic peninsula. Oh, here we go. Yep, that's what I was expecting. Okay, let's see. Any researcher positions, perhaps? Anyone with traits? No. Too much to hope for. I don't really have a lot of flexibility here. Anyone from that family who isn't truly just terrible? No. Oh my gosh. Okay, what do we have here? I guess Marshall is the best we can hope for in this situation. I'm not going to replace any of my governors with family characters. I guess I could replace one of the researchers with a family character. Yeah, this Gascony character. I mean, 5 zeal is really not that good, but it could be worse. What about you? 3 zeal. 3 zeal. Yeah, it'll have to do. That's a shame, but I will survive. Okay. Let's get over here. Start working in Numidia. Now, I know that my Africa policies will change every 5 years, but the governor policies, as long as I don't change out the governors that often, should remain fairly constant. So I'm trying to invest my PI here a little bit. Okay, so Massilia has some issues, but it should be able to... Hold on, before I do that. What are we looking at here? 85% is very high. I don't know if it's actually worth it in Massilia. Each of these does have a number of Amazigh people, but I think Massilia might be enough Canaanite to... It's also mostly Punic as well. Maybe I don't worry about Massilia right now. We need to pick our battles here. Let's see. Let me actually go over to Italia. What do we have here? This is necessary, and this... Oh my gosh. Still? Holy moly. Sanafar. I think I need to demote this city. This city is going to cause me just tons of headaches. Yeah, it's all of these noble... Yeah, this is exactly what I was worried about. These guys have got to demote yesterday. It's pretty quick. 13.28% per month. It's not fast enough. We need these guys out of here. This will speed things up, but what will even speed it up even further is revoking the city status. Now, I'm going to go ahead and destroy the port and revoke. It's 1 tyranny, but in this situation, we need this place to lose its nobility quick. Alright. Nice. This should get them out of there quick. Okay, over here, this is under control, and that will have to be how it is. Over here, it's already on religious conversion, and this seems to be sustainable for now. These are actually considered Punic cities, so I don't really want to demote them right now. Eventually I will move everyone into Lubin, but not at the moment. We can wait a little bit. And then, let's see. Yeah, okay. Over here, what do we have? This is probably necessary. Although I'm not sure it is. Plus 0.30. It probably is, but it'd be really great if I could get this onto conversion. It would be excellent if I could. I'm gonna roll the dice that I can sustain conversion over here. 0.15 is acceptable. I can sustain conversion. Alright. I really want to build a city at Retubis so I can fortify it. This is going to be my major kind of distant colony to work on. But we will come back to it when the time comes. Alright, we got war between some Gauls. Sounds fine. This is working along. We have to remember we're going to lose 50 gold when this finishes. More war in the Axum area. Okay. We will need to get to 60% support to get this. I probably want to do this one, though. Actually, do I want to do this one? Oh, hold on. I'm going to deal with that in a moment. I'm not sure I want to do this. A new character will appear, which could be good. But 25 political influence in 1 year commitment. If I can just get to power at home... I was only doing this to get to this, which I need 250 gold to do, so I need to save up for that. But in the meantime... getting the votes for power at home. Strengthen the system just requires to be positive stability and have 25 influence. It doesn't even spend 25 political influence either. I just need to have it. Okay. Then we can get to Carthaginian peace and get some... Oh, I can also get the mission for the traditionalists by doing the... Because I believe... Don't they want... Hold on. Did I see that right? Yeah, state infrastructure. I can do that using a province investment. That's for pop capacity, which is actually useful to have in this province. And then I can also do business investments as well, obviously. Ooh, you know, religious endowment, these are all actually kind of good here. I'll come back to that, I guess. I think the business investments should not be overlooked, though, but either way, we'll come back to that. Oligarchic legislation. The oligarchs have come to dominate the Carthaginian Edirem for the moment, and now boldly demand that a law benefiting their supporters be approved. Only the veto of our Shopet could confound their legislative efforts. I certainly won't stop them here. I can't. My government will collapse if I lose 50 approval from the oligarchs. They will get their way. We're going to see a switch from popular assembly with its corruption reduction. Fortunately, we do have sanctioned privileges running, so we still have some corruption loss, but we're going to go over to a Edirem administration. This is probably the next one I'd go to between the options here. Council of 104 is also pretty good for the tyranny loss, but plus 5% monthly political influence is of course quite nice. Known as the Wise Ones, this body of advisors held much more power back in the days of the monarchy. Perhaps bringing back a select group of wise and able men will allow for more decisive leadership. These changes are long overdue. All right, 58% support, and we've got a looming civil war. Oh no. 31% threshold. Holy shit. What? Okay, we're going to need to figure out exactly why that is happening. Who? It's this guy. Oh, he's so close. Come on. Is he mad that the oligarchs have power? I mean, the approval is declining every... Yeah, that's right. That's going to be a problem. I think I may need to smear the traditionalists, but then I think I need to smear the oligarchs. Is that going to really actually help that much? Smearing the oligarchs is the most efficient way to do smearing because they're going to regain the approval loss pretty quick. But it obviously won't help us get to 60 support. I just need to be at 60 to click this. I need to get to 60, do power at home, and then do my smearing plan. Or I could also do, instead of smearing, maybe what I should do is give holdings. This would also essentially have the same effect, but I would give it to the oligarchs, though, which wouldn't help this. I could also... Can I give him free hands? He doesn't have a position, does he? No, he doesn't. Maybe I put him in... He's not very good at... He's good at charisma, I guess. I could put him in an office and then give him free hands. I could also just bribe him directly. I think bribing him directly is... Two-Face is going to keep him at whatever the corruption gets set to. Granting him a holding will give him personal loyalty, but it won't help his faction, which is already declining. I think I need to... I could also revoke a holding. That's interesting. Not from him, but I could do it from someone else. So this option would lose me approval with the oligarchs, which would hurt my... So what I should really be doing, because this also doesn't cost tyranny, what I should do is revoke holdings to give myself more time with Democrat approval loss, because I'm going to gain the oligarch approval naturally, but I first need to get to 60 support, and then I need to do that plan in that order. So it's a little convoluted. I also need to prevent a civil war on top of all that. And I think I can repair his loyalty. So the order I need to do, this is super complicated, but this is exactly what I'm here for with a Republic campaign. I first need to get to 60 support, which probably involves upsetting the Democrats and strengthening the powerful oligarch faction. I click that button, which I think I can do while this is ongoing. I'm not 100% sure, but I may want to wait a little bit just to be safe. And then once I click power at home, I then immediately come back and reverse course and start to appease the Democrats at the cost of oligarch approval, which will hurt my overall support. And as long as I stay above 50 support, but lower it from where I am, I can trade Democrat approval going up for oligarch approval going down to balance things out a little bit. And also, I can do something to get loyalty with Hanno specifically. And having higher Democrat support will slow down the point at which he will lose loyalty enough to become disloyal again. I can't turn around his loyalty right now. I'm not going to be able to do anything to get positive Democrat approval. And all of these actions should ideally involve the least amount of spending tyranny, because tyranny also upsets the Democrats. This is super complicated. So they want the trade let's just see what they want. The trade escort policy. That is integrated culture happiness plus 5%. All the parties like this as well if I were to do this. Anti-piracy casus belli. Interesting. Okay. You know, I think I actually would go for this. This gets me approval with all 5 parties, and it is the mission for the Democrats. And the modifier is actually something I'd be on board with. I think I'm going to actually select this law and go for this on top of the plan I was just talking about to rebalance the current approval of the Democrats. I've got myself a plan, which I will begin to enact in the next episode of the Carthage Campaign. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.